So we can assume that the pandemic really, people that weren't up to speed got up to speed. Those who were up to speed profited greatly or were able to keep going.
Anybody that was dragging their feet, it made them.
Yeah,
It's like,
certainly
too bad.
decision
Yeah.
point.
BusinessJournalDaily.com. 3 Minutes With is brought to you by Farmers National Bank.
Who's the only local bank with a mobile mortgage app? Farmers. Download the app to contact your lender, calculate payments, securely scan and upload documents, and check the status of your loan. Fiercely local, fiercely loyal, Farmers.
How is the business technology you provide accelerating the speed of business and productivity?
I think that over the course of the last 2 years, we've had roughly 2 decades of evolution in technology. We have been forced to adapt to something that none of us obviously expected, but the benefit of that is that the technology has grown so fast.
Many of our clients were in a good position prior to COVID to be easily dispersed and get remote because you can get it from any device anywhere, anytime. So when it was March 17, 2020, everyone said, hey, go home and work. They were able to do that right away. And also the speed of delivery on new customers is much quicker. You can provision an account and within 24 hours have access to it and start functioning with it. I mean, that's a pretty broad term, but you actually have access to the software in 24 hours and you could start setting it up and move forward quickly.
Up till this point, we've watched virtual reality and augmented reality just sort of sit there. Second Life's been around for 30 years and no big deal. But because of the pandemic, now these are technologies that have entered the workforce and they're here to stay.
We got the pandemic when it came out. Everybody always asks how'd you deal with it? What'd you do? It was about a 15-minute thing for us. People came into the office, grabbed their stuff, and went home because we already had, we had our Slack set up for our internal communication. We had our PM tool. I'm sorry, we're not big enough for NetSuite, so we have a smaller PM tool. But we already had our QuickBooks Online. We had all of our platforms, marketing automation platforms online. Gmail, we were hosted on G Suite, so we had Google Meet already set up. We didn't have to jump onto a Zoom and have the threat of that. So we were ready to go.
I think it started in about 2017. We started forcing clients to come up with a disaster recovery plan, to come up with, to kind of move them in the right direction. So that transition in March and April, we were a little busy, but it wasn't a huge uptick in what we normally did. The 2 biggest issues that we had to contend with were some people still had a lot of desktop computers and we had to kind of figure out the logistics of that. And then some people had some really bad home internet connections that we had to contend with. But for the most part, a lot of our clients were pick it up and go. But you have to have the infrastructure to enable that. That's not a decision that you can necessarily make and spin up in a month.
We personally just saw a benefit for one of our customers that's impacted by the train derailment. So they're not allowed anywhere close to their offices, yet they're able to still keep working. Made a couple changes to the phone system as far as their messages for customers calling in, and they already had their laptops. They're using Office 365, so they're already set up to get their email from anywhere, and their cell phones are now ringing with their desk extensions. So it was certainly a scary time for their business. They still don't know exactly what condition everything's going to be in, but they've been able to keep in communication with their customers and operate in no way normally, but they're able to be there answering the phones and try and figure out what's going next.
We have always preached DR, if you lose your building, what's going to happen? If something happens here, how do we work remote? So we've always had good disaster plans for all of this, for all of our partners. So when that time came in, it was fairly easy to make those transitions, but again, challenges with home internet and securing the home networks. It's easy to secure inside your firewall and inside your network, but how do you secure the endpoints that are not protected by you or managed by you and that your people are using to access your data? And we've come up with different DNS filtering solutions and things like that to try to secure them and to keep our networks protected from the outside worlds. So I guess that was...
We had a dial-up connection. we found one client that had a user with a dial-up connection.
America Online?
Yeah, that's what they were using. Yeah.
So we can assume that the pandemic really people that weren't up to speed got up to speed. Those who were up to speed profited greatly or were able to keep going.
Well, anybody that was dragging their feet, it made them.
Yeah.
It's like too bad.
Decision
Yeah.
point.
BusinessJournalDaily.com. 3 Minutes With is brought to you by Farmers National Bank.
Who's the only local bank with a mobile mortgage app? Farmers. Download the app to contact your lender, calculate payments, securely scan and upload documents, and check the status of your loan. Fiercely local, fiercely loyal, Farmers.